Alright, gamers, welcome back. Star Wars The Old Republic, episode 14. We're back. Let's jump in, shall we? I'm excited to get back into it today. We played a good bit yesterday. Only an hour, but we got a good bit done yesterday. We finished Dromund Kaas, mostly all of the side quests there, but also our MSQ, our main story quest. And we got our ship from doing that. We are on board our ship right now, the Fury. How do I close this window again? Oh god. I can't remember how to close this window. We got some login rewards though. This is like a gotcha mechanic in a lot of games, I'm aware of that, but I do always just love a login reward screen, man. Nothing like as soon as you log in, just getting free stuff. So we got some expansive, versatile stims. Basically, they scale with your level and they just give you more mastery and power for, I think, like an hour. Yeah. We get a archaeology bioanalysis sphere. Grants any combination of mission, discovery, archaeology, or bioanalysis varying grades. So I guess this is like a profession thing. And then some scrap material for scrap peddlers. Not too sure about all that, but that's right. That's what it is. I don't know if I want to take all of these Imperial Fleet Commander quests right now. But we do have one of them, so let's... let me learn about my crew skills. Get this out of the way. Excuse me. Of the many stations... One second. Jesus, I almost died there. Of the many stations peppered throughout Imperial space, none rival the size or importance of Viken Space Dock. Viken is the true hub of the Imperial fleet, a logistical nucleus responsible for the vast majority of the Empire's military operations. In fact, the base has become so vital that it has been named after the Sith Empire's first Grand Moff, Odile Viken. Despite its usual complement of several dozen capital warships, Viken Space Dock is also one of the Empire's most well-guarded locales. Viken is commonly upgraded to the latest in shielding technology and detection sensors, and its vast arsenal has a combined destructive power that could potentially lay waste to a small moon. It's controlled by the Sith Empire. Any level can go here. It's in the seat of the Empire, and it's about 1,000 parsecs away, so it cost me about 120 credits to travel there. Let's go ahead and... Oh, that's cool. You can actually watch the ship like move throughout your window and jump into hyperspace. Okay. I'm assuming I just get off and I'm there. Maybe I have to be on the Imperial fleet. Pretty sick, honestly. Okay, learn a crew skill, then interact with your trainer. I don't know where to do this. Learn a crew skill from a crew skill trainer and then interact with the trainer on the Imperial fleet to help the Imperial war efforts. You can click on any trainer on the fleet in order to unlock a codex entry describing what a crew skill does. Okay. So this is the hangar bay. We just have to leave the hangar bay and go up to the actual main level, I'm assuming. Ooh. Well, the very first thing that I hovered over is actually it. That's cool. So this is just one of the main hubs in the game. The main hub, from what I understand. A lot of people hang out here, so it's kind of cool to see the player base active and alive here. And they're celebrating Christmas. but we have our own business to handle. Let's go learn about crew skills. Biochem, Artifice, Arms Tech, Cyber Tech, Synth Weaving, Armor Mech. You have chosen to learn Synth Weaving as your first crew skill. You may learn 2 crew skills. Only one of these may be a crafting skill. Additional crew skill slots may be purchased from the cartel market. Okay. I wish it would tell me what Synth Weaving does. Oh. All right, well let's go through and collect all of them real quick. And then I'll take a look at the codex and read each of them. Ah, shite. How do I open my codex again? There we go, Shift L. Let's start with synth weaving. I'll just kind of skim through these for the most part. Synth weaving is the process of fabricating synthetic materials out of crystals, various chemicals, and artifact fragments to construct mastery armors, or armorings, and armor for force users. Armorings are upgraded modifications that augment combat abilities. Vendors provide pre-made solutions, suspension, and composite that are used during the synth weaving process. Synth weavers can reverse engineer their crafted armor and possibly discover new ways to improve armor creation. That's pretty cool. The gathering skills, archaeology provide crafting resources for synth weaving. So if you take synth weaving, you probably want to pair it with archaeology or slicing is what it says here. So recommended mission skills, underworld trading. Synth weavers can also craft critical defense and alacrity augments. These can be installed in any item that has an augment slot. Cool, so if you want to be more focused on crit or it seems like defense, synth weavers could actually be pretty good. In there, I like how it has a recommended gathering skill with it and a mission skill with it. So gathering, like we said, archaeology or slicing. Cyber Tech. Cyber Tech is the skill to assemble earpieces, grenades, mods, enhancements, and miscellaneous gadgets. This almost seems like it's like the engineer of the game. Mods and enhancements are upgrade modifications that augment combat abilities. Earpieces are external mini computers that are worn on or near the ear. They enhance combat prowess by giving audio and visual feedback to the wearer or through direct neural feedback via an external nerve relay. Cybertechs can reverse engineer their crafted items and possibly discover new ways to improve their creations. Recommends scavenging and underworld trading. Biochem is a skill improved in crafting medical supplies, performing enhanced chemical serums, and biological implants. Biochemists can create med packs to restore health, stimulants that provide boosts to physical abilities, and biological implants that enhance combat prowess. This almost seems like an alchemist. It recommends bioanalysis with it and diplomacy as your mission skill. This seems like something that I'd probably do on one of my other characters. Artifice is a delicate skill of constructing lightsabers, color crystals, and armor die module, generators, and foci. Lightsaber modifications include color crystals and hilts that augment a force user's combat attributes. Color crystals determine beam and bolt color for lightsabers and blasters. This sounds like a really cool one. This might be what we go with. So this is basically, you know, the construction of sabers, crystals, armor dies, that kind of stuff. Arms Tech is the ability to work with hard metals, alloys, and synthetic materials to create blasters, blaster modifications, okay, and melee weapons. Right out the gate, this is something that I would play on a like a bounty hunter or a imperial sniper, something like that. Probably not on this character. Armor Mech. Also, it recommends scavenging or slicing with this profession. This is something that like I said, I'm probably going to use my like my bounty hunter or my sniper, and we would be an Arms Tech. Armor Mech. Armor Mech has the ability to work with hard metals, alloys, and synthetic materials to construct endurance armors and armor for non-force users. Once again, something that I would probably use on like my bounty hunter or gunslinger or sniper, right? Someone that's not really a force user slash saber user. So for me, I think we're probably going to go with the Artifice. I might save Artifice for my Sith Warrior and do synth weaving on this character. Yeah, let's go with synth weaving on this character. Oh, camera. Lord Jaren. So yeah, this seems kind of like almost like a tailor or leatherworking profession. So now that I have synth weaving, I can send 2VR8 on a quest for them or have him start crafting stuff, it seems. Okay. And it did recommend pairing archaeology, power crystals and artifact fragments, and underworld trading. That's underworld trading. We'll come back for that. I want to grab the archaeology, crew skill, trade vendor.
See anything you like? Just let me know.
Quite a few bits of materials here. Sell all my junk. And sort by... I mean, I'm not going to manually sort.
Come back anytime.
Officer Healy. You've chosen to learn archaeology as your second skill. Yes, we will train it. Archaeology is the study of crystal formations and archaeological finds. Crystal formations contain crystals that an artificer can use to construct lightsabers and armor for force users. Archaeology finds contain artifact fragments of force-imbued technology. These valuable items contain ancient formulas and algorithms used in the crafting skills, artifice, and synth weaving. Right. Bioanalysis. Let's learn the rest of these as far as entries in our codex goes. So now we have slicing. Slicing is the art of accessing secure computer systems and lock boxes to acquire valuable items, credits, or rare tech schematics. So you're basically slicing up computer parts to gain rare tech parts. Scavenging is the art of salvaging useful parts and base materials such as metals, alloys, and synthetic compounds from potential technology or technological resource junk piles, fallen droids, abandoned cargo, broken down vehicles, etc. It's good for armor mech, arms techs. We've read archaeology. What was the other one? Slicing, scavenging, bioanalysis. Bioanalysis is the practice of collecting genetic material from creatures and vegetation. Genetic materials include cell fibers, bacterial strains, toxic extracts, and medicinal fluids. Okay. Now we just need to learn underworld trading, treasure hunting, diplomacy, and investigation. Let's get all these in the codex. We'll take a quick read at them real quick. But we already know 99% chance we're going to go underworld trading. Diplomacy. Diplomacy is the art of conducting and managing negotiations. Sending your companions on diplomatic missions can influence your light side or dark side standing. That's cool. In addition to light side and dark side influence, possible diplomacy rewards include medicinal or medical supplies used to construct prototype and artifact implants, med packs, stimulants. Yep. good with biochem. Investigation. Investigation is the skill of researching, gathering, and analyzing and decoding secret information. Send your companions on investigation missions, can yield valuable items. It's good for schematics and arms tech. Treasure hunting. Treasure hunting is the ability to track down and recover valuable items by following a series of clues. Companions sent on treasure hunting missions can return with rare gemstones used to construct a prototype and artifact enhancements, hilts, color crystals, foci, and generators. So pairs really well with artifice, of course. And then underworld trading. Underworld trading entails the exchange of goods and services on the galactic black market. Sending your companions on underworld trading missions can yield luxury fabrics and underworld metals used to construct a prototype and artifact armor, earpieces, grenades, space upgrades, weapons, armor modifications. Other possible rewards include gifts for your companions. Pairs really well with armor mech, cybertech, and synth weaving. So it seems like you can only have 2. In order to buy the third, we have to buy it from the cartel shop, which requires real money, but let's send 2VRB on a archaeology mission. The Warshear Tree's Tale. One of the oldest Warshear trees on Kashyyyk, a millennial old, is finally dying. Its rings tell the story of Kashyyyk's history. Have your companion examine them. That sounds really cool. Sea caves of Iskalan. Dropping sea levels on Iskalan have revealed long hidden caves, once occupied centuries ago. Send your companion to investigate. Let's send 2BR8 to Kashyyyk, the planet of the Wookiees.
Perfection is my goal, Master.
Okay, I feel like I've done this now. How do I get rid of it? Learn a crew skill, then interact with your trainer. Oh, there we go. So I can learn the next level of synth weaving. It's advanced synth weaving at skill level 600 for 250,000 credits. But I just had to interact with them so I could get it out of the quest log. So that's now done. Good. Let's head back to our ship. This is the Jabiim Escort. Imperial intelligence spies carrying vital information on Republic plans are attempting to escape enemy territory in a stolen shuttle. Republic forces are in pursuit, however, and have trapped the shuttle in a tractor beam. Reinforcements are needed to defend the shuttle and ensure the stolen data arrives intact. Primary objective: escort the shuttle to safety. It's controlled by the Sith Empire. It's in Hutt space. It's about 3,000 parsecs away. Recommends level 12. We're good for this. Let's go ahead and travel. The further in I'm getting in the game, oh, there's actual... Wait. When did they put this in? I didn't know they had...
Shuttles in our sights.
Actual space combat.
Got him.
Wait, I need to protect him, right? That's the Jabiim? Yes. Escort the shuttle to safety. It just takes 3 minutes. This is really sick. I didn't know they had actual dogfights in the game. Whoa. Do a barrel roll. There's like a bonus quest to defeat 25 Talon fighters.
Surrender now.
We'll never surrender. Try and destroy those cannons.
What's he doing?
It's kind of giving me gummy ship vibes from Kingdom Hearts. Which, hey, I know a lot of people hate the gummy ship. It's alright, I tolerate it.
Got him.
I'm taking them down, baby. Is that where we need to make it? I think so. I need 2 more. That'll do it, baby. Ah! Taking hits, trying to evade them.
Flee, cowards.
"50 seconds. So it makes sense now that if we get upgrades for our ship and stuff, it'll help for these missions. Probably have more ammo, more missiles, higher health, better shields, that kind of stuff. Pretty fucking cool, honestly. I'm here for it. We're almost there. We'll slowly chip away at the space combat missions. That way it can feel a little fresh, right? I don't want to just grind them all out right now and burn myself out on it. I'd rather just like do a couple missions on a planet or something like that, and then next time we jump in the Fury, we can do another one in between traveling and stuff. Nice. Now, I don't know if this is character experience or if it's specifically like space combat experience. But we do get an XP bonus scroll for an hour, fleet commendations, and a grade 1 ship armor. Ship's toughness is set to 2000. Sick. Alright.
Yourself, Master. I think you'll be quite pleased.
Oh, and 2VR8 came back. He found 2 lost artifact fragments. Nice job. Alright. Send him... Well, I probably don't... Yeah, he has to... I have to have these materials to actually craft this stuff. I don't know how I get the Shadow Silk, but I did find 2 lost artifact fragments. So let's send 2VRB back to Kashyyyk. Just keep
Leave everything to me, Master. I will not disappoint you.
keep looking for stuff. Let's go to Nar Shaddaa first, I think. Well, let's take a look at each planet and see which one looks more appealing. Nar Shaddaa, the so-called Smuggler's Moon, is best known for one thing: anything that can be bought here if the price anything can be bought here if the price is right. Excuse me. Nar Shaddaa orbits Hutta, homeworld of the Hutt cartel, but exists as a power in its own right. Criminal organizations and legitimate enterprises operate side by side, regulated only by the Hutt's whims. Gleaming skyscrapers house corporations, casinos, technology shops, spice houses, and every other type of business imaginable. Although no other world offers Nar Shaddaa's unique services, the city has a notorious murder and disappearance rate. Gangsters, pirates, slavers, and worse crowd the street. And the Republic and Imperial representatives compete for influence with the local powers. Strangers should be extremely cautious. Sorry, that's my Discord. Let me close out of that real quick. Okay, well, we get an idea of Nar Shaddaa. It's a smuggler planet. What about Balmorra? Balmorra, once an independent corporate and manufacturing world, Balmorra was defended by the Republic and conquered by the Empire, God, sorry, can't talk right now, during the war. Now the corporations have mostly fled. Local collaborators have been rewarded with positions in the Imperial puppet government, and an entrenched and well-armed resistance opposes the Empire's rule. Despite brutal retaliation by the Imperial military against military and civilian targets, the battle to eliminate and resistance drags on. Droid factories and industrial waste sites have become battlegrounds. The main Balmorran spaceport is in the city of Sobrik, an Imperial military stronghold heavily fortified against resistance attacks. I think we're going to go to Balmorra first and then go to Nar Shaddaa next. Balmorra recommends level 16 to 20. It's Sith controlled. It's in the Core Ward worlds, and it's about 15,000 parsecs away. Nar Shaddaa,
I seem to have outdone myself, Master. I think you'll be quite pleased.
nice job, 2B. Nar Shaddaa recommends 20 to 24, so it's a little higher. We'll probably come here next. It's in the hut space, of course. It's contested, and it's about 10,000 parsecs away. So let's go to Balmorra first. Still collecting those artifacts from Tulak Horde's collection. Keep sending 2V on different quests.
I will perform according to your exacting specifications, Master.
Oh. I suppose I actually need to get on the ship and use my holo terminal. Little piece of chocolate.
Greetings, Master. You're looking fit and deadly, as always.
Thank you, 2B. Now shut up. That's what our character was
Is that
saying.
you, apprentice? Excellent. You've arrived safely on Balmorra, I see. Now, I hope you're ready to work. I've got a good idea of where the ancient artifact is on Balmorra, but it's not pleasant.
I'm not worried.
I don't have a weak stomach.
Good. This is not a task for the easily unsettled. Tulak Horde hid his artifact in a vault on Balmorra, one that was later converted by the Balmorrans into a toxic waste storage facility.
Lovely.
But the vault was hit badly in the last war. It's now a crater filled with toxic waste. Your artifact is at the bottom.
Wonderful.
I'll just get some diving gear and go.
If only it were that simple. I'm afraid the waste would kill even you, my apprentice. But try making contact with the Imperial Resources Officer here on Balmorra, Major Bessica. Bessica knows the planet.
Bessica?
And may even have a few good ideas.
Non-Sith are beneath me.
You want me to work with an Imperial?
Those who succeed without the Force make up for what they lack with a certain resourcefulness. Don't write Bessica off. The Empire has its hands full coping with a violent Balmorran uprising. Officially, they're a grassroots militia. Secretly, they have the Republic's full backing. I've informed Major Bessica of the Republic's involvement, so he'll be better equipped to assist you. No doubt the Republic's hounds will get in your way.
I'll relish beating them.
I will destroy the enemies of the Empire.
I expect nothing less. But the war is secondary to the artifact. Retrieve the artifact and try to be discreet. We don't want the entire Sith Order chasing our prize.
That makes sense. 2B came back with 2 Rubat crystals. That's nice. Oh, we get a new quest here. Slaves of Begarin. In ancient times, the imperial slaves of Begarin created great monuments to their masters. Send your companion to excavate the artistry left behind. Yes. Fibrous Nihilite solution.
Perfection is my goal, Master.
Can I send him on? No. I wish I could queue up a bunch of different missions for him to go on, because these only take 2 minutes, so they're very quick, but they are like a low tier crafting mission. It shouldn't take long. I'm assuming the higher up in crafting we get, in synth weaving we get, it's going to take longer and longer. Alright, we're on Balmorra. Jump on the speeder. The Solbrick spaceport. Place kind of looks like Drummond Cos. Captain Regal.
My lord, welcome to Balmorra. I hope you like bombed to pieces mudholes. Captain Rigel, Imperial Conquest
Rigel.
Consolidation Corps. When the Empire invades, we're the ones who seal the deal. Don't suppose you're aware of the situation here on Balmorra?
A war, right?
It's my understanding there's some kind of battle.
Yeah, if you could call a pile of bodies a battle. The Empire invaded Balmorra in the last war, but we've been spinning our wheels in the mud ever since. Resistance fighters think they can drive the Empire off Balmorra. We're here to prove them wrong.
Sounds easy.
How hard can it be to put down a few resistance?
It's not just a few resistance, they're well organised and well armed, but they can be broken. The Balmorran government in exile, backed by Minister of Defence Vol Argen, is giving us fits, backing a strong faction of the resistance. The Minister is safely off planet, but if we break his allies here, we break him. We break him, we break the resistance.
So kill him.
Why doesn't Imperial intelligence just have him assassinated?
Yeah, I get your thinking, cut off the head and kill the body, except resistance movements aren't organisms, exactly. If we took out Argen, it'd be big, but as long as his power base stands, some other idealist is bound to step in. That's why we need to take everything out. Do we have the privilege of your support?
I won't refuse.
Normally I wouldn't be bothered, but this project sounds intriguing.
You have our heartfelt appreciation, my lord. My second-in-command, Lieutenant Davril, is masterminding Phase 1 of what we like to call Operation Breaking Point. You'll find him in Sobrick. He's got plans to blow the Balmorran resistance sky high. I think you'll like them.
Pretty cool. We also got Fibrous Nihilite Solution from 2V's expedition.
A task just for you? Oh, thank you, Master.
I remember the craters and trenches of Yin and Chabosh, the terror of the dying. It was glorious. I've got so much stuff in my bags, man. Let's use a experience boost because I got so many of them. Solbrick. I guess I should be reading these, at least the location codex entries. Let's go back to the Sith Academy and kind of skim through the ones that we've been to. The Sith Academy rising above the Valley of the Dark Lords. The Sith Academy is a monument to the power of the dark side and the might of the Sith Empire. Would-be students throughout Imperial space compete for the privilege of studying within the academic halls. But only those strong in the Force are selected, and most of those perish in the struggle to become Sith. Beyond the training rooms lay many secrets that remain hidden to all but the most powerful Sith Lords. Higher levels contain chambers for members of the Dark Council, where few living creatures are permitted. We also had I'm not going to read them all. Like I said, I'm just going to read the major ones, like Kos City. Kos City, the capital city of the Imperial homeworld of Dromund Kaas, is one part massive skyscrapers and one part impenetrable fortress. It is a host to the Citadel, where the Sith of the Dark Council and those who aspire to the Dark Council lord over their followers, and the headquarters of the Imperial military and Imperial intelligence. Kos City was founded by the first Sith to arrive on Dromund Kaas, who saw the gorges and ravines of the jungle world as the perfect place to build their eternal sanctuary. Over the following centuries, its population grew into the millions, proud Imperials working towards the glory of the Sith and slaves submitting to Imperial will. Kos City is also where the Emperor is believed to make his home.
Perfection delivered, Master.
Keeping a watchful eye on his empire. Interesting. So Kos City is actually where the Emperor is. I guess we could skim through them all real quick. Sith Academy, we've already read. Cass City, we've already read. The Grathan Estate, we remember this place. The estate of the rogue Sith Lord Grathan is a miniature fortress reinforced by cutting-edge weapons, technology, and experimental shielding. Lord Grathan's cadre of scientists, or cadre? I don't know I actually have never seen that word before. Of scientists are constantly upgrading the defense to ensure that airstrikes fail to do harm. Only ground-based attacks can do real damage. It's the perfect place for a rogue Sith Lord to make a stand. Lord Grathan has been reinforcing his territory and adding sub-levels to his manor for years, suggesting that his plan to declare himself the 13th Dark Council member has been in progress longer than many assume. Any number of traps and treasure may exist deep underground, guarded by Grathan's personal guard. Hammer Station, pressed by the Sith Empire during the war, the Republic Senate sank its meager resources into ever more desperate measures to end the conflict. One of the resulting projects was Hammer Station, a prototype mobile facility built around a combined tractor beam and massive gravity cannon. The tractor beam captured nearby asteroids, and the cannon launched the asteroids at near relativistic speeds at a chosen target. No shield could handle the magnitude of kinetic energy. When positioned over a planet, Hammer Station was capable of devastating entire cities in a single shot. So this was the dungeon that we did. I remember the tractor beam, and that's what that is. That's actually really cool to I need to start reading these wherever we go. It's a little late into the series to start reading them, but I also was just kind of figuring out how the game was working. I honestly didn't even really know about the codex, but let's continue. We read Cass City, Revanite Compound, outsiders in Sith Society, followers of the philosophies of the mysterious Darth Revan meet in a hidden enclave in the jungles of Dromund Kaas, submitting any who want to join them to rigorous tests to establish their loyalty and sincerity. Originally, the Revanites met in Cass City to study Revan's teachings, but as suspicions arose about the Revanites' loyalties to the Emperor and the Dark Council, they were forced to conceal their activities. At first, they took shelter in the compound of the prominent Sith Lord, but when the Sith was assassinated, presumably for supporting the Revanites, they were forced to relocate their sacred texts and relics and build their sanctuary in the jungle. Revanites inside the Imperial military and the Sith have kept the compound from appearing on most scans of the area. Explorers who stumble upon the compound are rarely heard from again. We've read the Sith Academy. We're about to read Sobek last because that's where we are right now. The Citadel. The Citadel stands at the heart of Cass City, a monument to the Sith's empire's strength and a home to its most powerful Dark Lords. The Ministries of War, Intelligence, and Logistics are all headquartered here, along with the Mandalorian Enclave. The Emperor's Dark Council gathers to meet in the Citadel when not on the Sith holy world of Korriban. The original Citadel mimicked the designs of Korriban's Sith Academy and the Great Citadel on Zoist, but it was destroyed for 400 years ago when two members of the Dark Council fought an ancient Sith duel called the Kagath on its grounds. The duel was a draw, and both of the combatants were executed by the remaining Dark Council members, who oversaw the rebuilding of the Citadel in its current form. Really interesting. Called the Kagath. The Dark Temple. Hundreds of years ago, the Sith Emperor ordered the construction of the Dark Temple as a burial place for his dead and defeated enemies, to aid them in becoming one with the Force. Little is known of what rituals the Emperor performed here, but the Dark Temple has become a nexus of powerful dark side energy, and a place where ancient weapons and ancient secrets of the Sith lay sealed away in cavernous chambers. Although the Dark Temple grounds have always been a dangerous place for the weak-willed, the expansion of the Cass City power grid into tunnels beneath the temple drove 1,000 slaves mad. Oh, that's what's driving the slaves mad there. It's a power grid system. The temple itself remained sealed until recently, when an expedition of power-hungry Sith Lords and their servants breached the gateways. The Dark Council did not sanction this intrusion, nor did it punish the rogue Sith. No one returned from the expedition to punish. Violent electrical storms surrounded the temple for the first week after it was opened, and since then additional expeditions have been sent by the Council to determine the temple's status. Their reports have not been made public. The Mandalorian Enclave. This is inside the Citadel. The most recent architectural addition to the Citadel, the Mandalorian Enclave, is reserved for the Empire's allies among the mercenary Mandalorian warrior clans. Although it may appear to be a simple embassy from the outside, the proceedings inside are anything but diplomatic. The Enclave is a place where new warriors come to test themselves against the Mandalorians and compete in violent and often deadly tournaments, as well as where the best among the Mandalorians help plan the Empire's next strike. The Sith Sanctum. The Sith Sanctum is the heart of the Sith Order on Dromund Kaas, where lords gather and where the Dark Council meets when not on the Imperial burial world of Korriban. The Emperor himself is believed to have chambers in the Sanctum's lower levels, though none save the Council and the Imperial Guard are allowed into its depths. The original Citadel, like the Sith Academy on Korriban, was off limits to everyone but the Sith. After the Citadel was rebuilt, the headquarters of the 3 Imperial ministries were added. More recently, the Mandalorian Enclave was given a wing within the sprawling building. As a result, chambers in the Sith Sanctum have become an increased source of conflict and backstabbing among the aspiring Sith. A place in the Sith Sanctum signifies aspirations to the Dark Council, or a prominent role in the direction governing of Dromund Kaas. The Unfinished Colossus. A massive unfinished statue towering over the jungles of Dromund Kaas. We've seen this. The Colossus was the project of Dark Council member Darth Vowron's ambitious apprentice Lord Ket. In a bid to advance in prestige within the Sith Order, Lord Ket commissioned the construction of the Colossus, a statue of his master, in secret, bringing in off-world slaves to do the work. The slaves rebelled, and now the Colossus stands unfinished while the slaves search for a way to destroy it and win their freedom through force. Lord Ket has been trying to end the rebellion and finish the Colossus, but other Sith Lords have seen the chaos as an opportunity to advance their own reputation in the Empire. That's actually really cool. The Wilds. When the Sith discovered Dromund Kaas, it was an untamed jungle world, uninhabited by any sentient species. Over centuries, gleaming and orderly Imperial cities have spread to cover most of the planet, but stretches of harsh, untamed wilderness remain, populated by violent predators such as the Gundark, and Djurgården. The Wilds separate Kaas City from its spaceports, are best navigated at a safe distance by speeder rather than on foot. The Tomb of Ajunta Pall. This is on Korriban, remember this? Before the Empire, before the Sith Order, Ajunta Pall was the very first Dark Lord. Cool. Once a Jedi Master, Ajunta Pall learned how to create and shape life itself through the Force, an art the Jedi feared and sought to end. In an act of defiance, he turned his newfound power against the Jedi Order and rebelled. In the end, the Jedi banished Ajunta Pall and his followers, exiling them to the Outer Rim, where the exiles found Korriban and a Force-wielding native species called the Sith. Ajunta Pall impressed the Sith with his power and technology, and the Sith soon revered the exiles as gods. From his seat of power on Korriban, Ajunta Pall was named Dark Lord of the Sith and found the Sith Empire. Upon his death, Ajunta Pall's body was entombed in the Valley of the Dark Lords. After millennia of sandstorms, cave-ins, and warfare, the tomb still stands as a testament to his lasting influence. The tomb of Marka Ragnos. Strength, power, and strategy marked the rule of Marka Ragnos. Descended from the original Sith inhabitants of Korriban and the Dark Jedi exiles who interbred with them, Marka Ragnos, was destined for greatness. He conquered his competitors in a series of quick, ruthless campaigns and became Dark Lord of all Sith, a title he would hold for more than a century. The reign of Marka Ragnos might have been short-lived had he not displayed great strategic discipline. Instead of clashing directly with Sith challengers who hungered for his power, he pitted his enemies against each other to weaken and destroy them. Similarly, he was one of the few Sith of his era who knew of the existence of the Republic and the Jedi Order. He chose not to attack and instead focused on strengthening the Sith Empire. The Golden Age of the Sith would end shortly after his death, but the legacy and spirit of Marka Ragnos would live on within his tomb in the Valley of the Dark Lords. The Tomb of Naga Sadow. We're almost done, guys. And we're almost at an hour. This is just going to be like a lore episode, I guess. Naga Sadow is ruled by ambition for power, for dominance, and for the expansion of the Sith Empire. Marka Ragnos' body was still warm when Naga Sadow clashed with Sith Lord Ludo Kresh over their late ruler's title. The spirit of Marka Ragnos interrupted their duel and told the two Sith Lords of a greater enemy, the Republic and its Jedi defenders. Naga Sadow saw opportunity in this revelation and launched an attack on Republic space, a move that would see Sadow named the Empire's ruler and sparked a great hyperspace war. So basically, the Great Hyperspace War is because of Naga Sadow. Naga Sadow's ambition and overconfidence soon became his greatest weakness. Even with his mastery of Force illusions, the Republic outmatched the Sith. Sadow's invasion failed, and the Republic fleet pursued him back to Sith space. He fled Korriban with his warriors as the Sith Empire crumbled around him. Sadow sought refuge on the remote moon Yavin 4, where he died after spending years trying to rebuild the Empire he had inadvertently helped to destroy. Naga Sadow's spirit, however, survived to pass on Sith teachings, planting the seeds of corruption among his Jedi enemies. The Tomb of Tula Kord, Lord of Hate, Master of the Gathering Darkness, and Dark Lord of the Sith. Those are but a few of the titles worn by the great Tula Kord. His command of the dark side and mastery of lightsaber techniques won Horde many battles, and each victory earned him enemies abroad and within the Sith ranks. Of the many who challenged his might, none were successful. Among Horde's greatest triumphs were the battles of Yin and Shabosh, which is something that we've heard Kemval reference. With an army of Darkside warriors and his faithful Deshade assassin at his side, he annihilated the rebels who defied the expansion of the Sith Empire and went on to conquer the Drummun system, setting the stage for Drummun Kaas to eventually become capital of the Empire. Imperial historians believe the worlds conquered by Hordes number in the hundreds, but any record from his bygone era were lost in the Great Hyperspace War. And then finally, the Valley of the Dark Lords. Since the dawn of the Empire, this is basically like an overview of Korriban. Since the dawn of the Empire, the Valley of the Dark Lords has been the final resting place for the galaxy's most legendary Sith. Carved into the rock walls and anointed with the blood of 1,000 slaves, the Valley's tombs are monuments to the influence and strength of their interred lords. A tomb's construction can require decades. Construction beginning long before death claims its eventual occupants and ending long after. With the defeat of the Sith Empire in the Great Hyperspace War, Korriban was abandoned with only ancient statues to guard over the valley. Grave robbers and cave-ins wore down the tombs for 1,000 years until the Sith returned and restored Korriban to its former glory. Excavations into the rediscovered tombs are now underway, and already Sith wonder who will be the next great warrior to lie among the legends in the Valley of the Dark Lords. Very, very cool. We're not going to read the game rules. That's boring. Crew skills, we've kind of skimmed through those. I guess I could keep up with the bestiary. The Chlor Slugs, hulking worm-like creatures with pincer legs and gaping maws of teeth. Chlor Slugs are among the most dangerous species on Korriban. Not only can they shear a man in half and swallow him whole, they can project their vile, venomous spits great distances. I'll just kind of skim through these. I'm not going to fully read them. A century ago, a notorious hunter named Regen Hetu was contracted to bring in a live Chlorslug queen to an eccentric hut for a gala celebration. The beast was meant to highlight in the hut's annual gladiatorial tournament, but when Regan arrived on Hutta and opened his cargo bay, some 400 Chlor-slugs poured out, consuming the hunter as well as the hut. To this day, the sound made when a batch of Chlor-slugs hatch is called a hut's cry. That's cool. The Chirac. Eyeless winged monstrosities that hunt in swarms. Chiracs are cave-dwelling terrors indigenous to Korriban. Fiercely territorial, they attack intruders with aggression and frenzy. Typically cave-bound, every 63 years, the Chiracs of Korriban spill from their habitats every day for the entire summer. They fill the sky, blotting out the sun and moon, and rain their bluish droppings onto everything below. Before the Sith returned to reclaim Korriban, every 63rd summer saw biologists from across the galaxy descend onto the planet to observe the purpling of the red terrain, the Takuta, or the Takata. These oversized hounds were bred to be fearless and relentless. Left to guard the Sith tombs of Korriban, they have sharp horns, long claws, and savage teeth. They're unusually intelligent and seem capable of communicating with one another through unknown means. It is said that the species was non-violent and grazing before being corrupted by Sith alchemical experiments that awakened a latent part of their brain and changed them into unnatural abominations. Random mutations now occur that produce some Takata that can live for centuries and grow to immense proportions. We'll also take a look at the planets. I'm mostly going to keep up with like lore, locations, the bestiary, planets, maybe like the ships, and then the species, so we can learn about core things in the game. But stuff like, hell, maybe even the persons of note will keep up with these as well. I'll try and keep up with the lore as we keep moving, because this stuff is actually really cool to me. We've done all the locations, we've done all the bestiary, we've read all the crew skills, game rules I don't care about. Lore. Sith weapons. The most visible symbol of the Sith is their iconic weapon, the lightsaber. Lightsabers are powered through a combination of rare crystals, precise engineering, and the Force itself. They come in both single and double-bladed forms. The Sith are believed to be the first to wield the double blade. While a lightsaber hilt is often customized by its owner, the blade's color is determined by its crystal. Red, purple, and orange are the most common among the Sith. Acolytes seeking to wield these weapons are required to begin their trials using an Electroblade training sword. Sith spawn. In the ancient past, the Sith Lords of Korriban perfected an art they called alchemy, a synthesis of scientific lore and dark side philosophy. Sith alchemy was a tool to transform life itself, to reshape flesh and bone, and create terrifying servants out of mere animals. Creation of Sith alchemy are called Sith spawn. Each is unique, crafted by the hand of a Dark Lord with monstrous intent. Most are ancient, as few Sith continue to practice alchemy. Although the art is not lost, it has fallen out of favor. A Sith spawn is unnatural by definition, built for near immortality, and typically violent beyond measure. A perfect weapon, if bound, a perfect guardian. The Red Engine, created by the ancient Sith Lord Tulak Hord. The Red Engine was an infernal machine powered by hate and blood, located deep in its creator's tomb, which we've seen. Legend holds that those who unlock the secrets of the terrible device will gain access to the hidden teachings of Tulak Hord himself. Despite this potential prize, most scholars who have studied the Red Engine have eventually given up in frustration, thwarted by the complexities of the sinister invention. Then the Treaty of Coruscant. The decades-long war between the Galactic Republic and the rejuvenated Sith Empire ended without a decisive battle. Instead, the conflict halted with a peace agreement neither side believed would last. The Treaty of Coruscant, a document forbidding Republic military activity within Imperial space, and vice versa. Rules of engagement in neutral territory are far more vague, allowing for a range of border conflicts and attacks via third parties. But the treaty has prevented all-out warfare on more than one occasion. Negotiations began when the Empire, whose early victories had led to dwindling resources and overexpansion, reached out to a battered republic, and called for a summit on Alderaan. As the summit began, Imperial forces launched a surprise attack on Coruscant, the Republic capital. Conquering the city world was impossible, but the Empire wreaked enormous havoc in a short period, effectively holding Coruscant hostage and forcing the Republic to agree to less than favorable terms. So this is the battle that they're talking about there at the end. I think that's the battle that happens in one of the cutscenes for the game, right? There's a bunch of these Sith Lords that storm into Coruscant, and they have a giant battle, and I think that's what they're talking about there. Organizations, Grathan forces. The rogue Sith Lord Grathan has declared himself the 13th Dark Council member, with his own power base and sphere of influence within the Sith hierarchy. Although his claims have not been widely recognized, he controls a substantial private army on Drummun Kaas. The Dark Council has authorized all-out warfare against Lord Grathan and anyone who supports him. So Grathan basically was just like, oh, I am the 13th Dark Council member, and they're like, no, you're not. What the fuck? After being driven from the Citadel, Lord Grathan holed up in his estate outside Chaos City. His forces there are made up of apprentices, loyal Imperial troops, and cybernetic super soldiers he developed in his secret weapons lab. The Revenites, the secret society known as the Order of Revan, is known only to its members and a few inquisitive outsiders. The society is believed to be several hundred strong, ranging from powerful and influential Sith lords to military officers and alien slaves. Low status is no barrier to entry, but personal power and fervor are everything. Some so-called Revenites devote their lives to the cult's teachings and exist outside of mainstream Imperial society. Others study and meet in secret while maintaining ordinary lives. The Order of Revan takes its name from the ancient Sith Lord, a fallen Jedi who used both the dark side and the light side of the Force during his lifetime. Revan drew strength from passion as well as tranquility, took allies who were human and alien, weak and strong. Revenites seek to emulate Revan's ways, seeing him as the greatest of all teachers. And we will learn more about Revan in other games eventually when we go back and visit Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2, as well as some of the other games. We'll gather more lore about Revan. And then Tomb Raiders. The ancient Sith tombs of Korriban have long been a target of raiders and treasure seekers with dreams of valuable plunder. While many are the minions and hirelings of Sith Lords hoping to lay their hands on powerful relics, others are daring fortune hunters who come from off-world and risk conflict with the Sith. Individual pirates and rogues occasionally arrive stowed away on ships, but a more organized group led by an eccentric underworld figure has infiltrated shipments of slaves sent to the Red Planet. Once on the surface, the slaves sneak into the tomb. Few ever leave Korriban, but those who survive are paid handsomely for their troubles. Persons of note: Grand Moff Kilrin. Cultured, cunning, and utterly ruthless, Rikus Kilrin may be the greatest naval strategist the Empire has ever seen. Born to a wealthy family with a proud military tradition, Kilrin proved himself, to no one's surprise, a capable right-hand man of the Sith during the Empire's early assaults on the Brema sector. We learned about Kilrin when we took on the Hammer Station. It's pretty cool. Kemval, the Inquisitor. Once a loyal servant of the Sith Lord Tulak Hord, Kemval was placed in a stasis chamber in the tomb of Naga Sadow centuries ago by his master for safekeeping. Tulak Hord is long dead, but Kemval lives on, a terrifying nightmare from the ancients' past. Powerful, cunning, and ruthless, enough to slay even the strongest Force users, Kemval was trained as an elite assassin. After emerging from his long slumber, the Jashad is the very embodiment of death and destruction, a reminder that there are things even Sith and Jedi must fear. Although once pledged to a life of service with his original master gone, it is uncertain where Kemval's true loyalties now lie. A near-perfect killing machine, he would provide a valuable weapon for anyone willing to take him on, though he is a weapon that can cut both ways. He likes killing Force users' displays of strength and making foolish people unhappy. He dislikes weakness in any form, not killing Force users. Lord Zash. Energetic and excitable, Lord Zash has devoted her life to researching the arts of the Sith. An expert in manipulating the dark sides of the Force, she eschews the ostentation and pretentiousness common to the instructors at the Academy on Korriban. Many students are initially taken aback, both by her appearance and her demeanor, scholarly, even bookish. She also seems young for one who has risen so high in the Academy's ranks. Instead of instruction through fear and intimidation, she is quick to offer encouragement or a helping hand to acolytes who show promise. But on Korriban, only the cunning and the strong survive. There's more to Zash than meets the eye, and those who underestimate her rarely live to regret their mistake. Overseer Harkin. A gruff, hard-lined traditionalist, Overseer Harkin believes in the Empire and the superiority of its children. He makes no effort to hide his contempt for acolytes who have risen up from slavery and those chosen from alien cultures. His stubborn rejection of the changes at the Academy, of the need to replace the Sith lost in the war with a new and lesser generation, has crippled his prospects for advancement, leaving him bitter and spiteful. We remember Harkin, he sucked. Revan Reborn. The public hero known as Revan had a turbulent past. As a Jedi general in the Mandalorian Wars, he led Republic forces to victory. As Darth Revan, corrupted by the will of the Sith Empire, he became the Republic's deadliest enemy. Betrayed by his apprentice Malak, Revan lost his memory and was given a new identity by the Jedi Council. He then pursued and destroyed Malak, redeeming himself before his memories of the Sith Empire began to return. Revan left known space, intending to find and stop the Sith Emperors, but his plan failed. He was captured and held in stasis by the Emperor for more than 300 years, where he suffered under the Emperor's mental interrogation. He escaped at last, and it is clear that centuries spent linked to the Emperor's mind had a profound effect on him. During the Mandalorian Wars, Revan was willing to sacrifice his own troops to achieve military objectives. His creation of extermination droids now goes even further, demonstrating Revan's fanatical belief that any sacrifice is worthwhile to stop the Emperor. Perhaps he is mad, the cost paid willing to battle the Emperor's will and even exert his own influence on the Emperor to keep him in check, or perhaps the ideals of the Jedi proved insufficient in the end for a man neither Sith nor Jedi. We'll read the planets and then we'll do the ships and the species, and we'll wrap this episode up. Balmorra, once an independent corporate and manufacturing world, Balmorra was defended by the Republic and conquered by the Empire during the war. Now, the corporations have mostly fled. Local collaborators have been rewarded with positions in the Imperial puppet government, and an entrenched and well-armed resistance opposes the Empire's rule. Despite brutal retaliation by the Imperial military against military and civilian targets, the battle to eliminate the resistance drags on. Droid factories and industrial waste sites have become battlegrounds. The main Balmorran spaceport is in the city of Sobrik, an Imperial military stronghold heavily fortified against the resistance attacks. That reminds me, we do need to go back and read Sobrik real quick. Sobrik was the original capital of Balmorra before the more advantageous location of Bin Prime was chosen to replace it 300 years ago. Since then, the city of Sobrik has first shrunk, then been almost entirely obliterated by bombing runs and rebuilt by Imperial engineers. Sobrik was one of the last cities to hold out during the Imperial invasion of the planet. Because of this, and its close proximity to the state-of-the-art Balmorran arms and Okra droid factories, the Empire has made Sobrik the headquarters of its occupation, maintaining tight control over the remaining civilian population. Dromund Kaas. And it is actually pretty cool. I'm seeing now that they show all the codex entries for each planet right here if you want to collect them all, which that might be something that I do on this character in the future. I probably wouldn't do it on every character, but maybe just on my main character, but we'll see how I feel. Dromund Kaas. Dromund Kaas was the capital of the Sith Empire, founded a millennia ago in the aftermath of the Great Hyperspace War. Since then, the sleek metropolis of Kaas City has grown into a symbol of imperial power, towering over the surrounding jungle and looming dark against the stormy skies. The military and the Sith have authority here, under the eye of the Emperor himself. Aside from the wildlife, the greatest threats are internal slave revolts, feuding Sith lords, and the like. Planetary defenses are formidable, as the Empire still remains its defeat and exile long ago. And then Korriban, a cruel planet of rocky red deserts and crumbling ruins. Korriban was the homeworld of the ancient Sith, reclaimed by the Empire in recent decades. It is now the site of the Sith Academy, where the Dark Council oversees the training of new acolytes. Only Sith may come and go freely from the Academy, and for the non-Sith to visit Korriban is a great privilege. Surrounding the Academy are the tombs of the first Dark Lords. Used as testing grounds by the Academy overseers, the tombs remain filled with traps, monstrosities, and relics, even millennia after their construction, along with the bodies of a generation of failed acolytes. We'll read some ship lore real quick. Gauge-class transports. Resembling the larger, more heavily armed Terminus-class destroyer, the Gauge-class transport trades the destroyer's numerous turbolaser banks for cargo space and troop barracks. Where the Gauge does not resemble its cousin, however, is in its heavy armor. The Gauge isn't built for speed or combat, but to get its cargo to its destination intact. And then we have the Fury-class Imperial Interceptor. This is our ship. Warriors and Inquisitors get this ship. Featuring an advanced hyperdrive and state-of-the-art sublight engines, the Fury is the most versatile starship in the Imperial fleet, and the end result of centuries of evolving design. The modern Fury was originally conceived for use in high-priority military missions, but is now used almost exclusively by Sith and outfitted accordingly. The Fury's angular design combines the maneuverability of the fighter with impressive armament rivaling some large military vessels. The Fury also features a set of strike foils that remain down for travel but can be expanded in short-range combat to maximize the ship's agility and range of firepower. The interior aesthetic is sleek and functional, arranged in the traditions of the Sith Academy of Korriban. And then species, we have the Abyssin. The Abyssin are nomadic and savage species from the planet Biss. They are distinguished most obviously by their single large eye centered prominently on their foreheads. They are also notoriously hard to kill, possessing incredible regenerative abilities that allow them to recover from virtually any non-fatal wound. The Abyssin's uncanny resilience has no doubt contributed to their violent culture. While bloody conflicts between warring tribes are all too common, casualties from these skirmishes are surprisingly few. Their fortitude makes them ideal hired muscle, and they often find a work throughout the galaxy as mercenaries and bodyguards. Pretty cool. The Deshad. As fearsome as they are scarce, Deshad are the hulking survivors of a long-dead planet. Their homeworld, Urkup, was destroyed a millennia ago, leaving a scant few of their kind left. A live Deshad is a rare sight these days. Prior to Urkup's destruction, they were feared for their inherent resistance to the Force. Sith and Jedi alike often found their powers useless against Deshad. While the Jedi generally preferred to avoid them, many Sith Lords took advantage of their unique abilities and employed Deshads as assassins to dispose of Jedi and rival Sith. The Kubaz. The Kubaz are long-snouted aliens, renowned for their secretive hand signals they use to communicate with each other. That's cool. These signals, combined with their ability to see even with very little light, make them experts at covert communications, and as a result, they are commonly employed as espionage agents by forces on both sides of the galactic conflict. Even in the underworld, Kubaz are used to broker deals in silence, in the shadows. One of the most famous Kubaz was a triple agent who worked for the Hutt cartel, providing them with information on both the Republic and the Sith Empire, so the Hutts could reap the rewards of the conflict. And then the Sith Pureblood. Although the name Sith is now used by the Order of the Force users who call upon the dark side, the term originally referred to a Force-sensitive species of red-skinned humanoids. The term Sith Pureblood is now used to distinguish between those descended from the species and the Order itself. The Sith species was discovered 3,000 years ago on Korriban by exiled human Dark Jedi, fleeing Republic space after their defeat in a war called the Second Great Schism. The Dark Jedi quickly enslaved the primitive culture, and over many generations the two groups intermingled. Eventually, the elite ruling class of Korriban consisted almost exclusively of the hybridized offspring of the Dark Jedi and the High Priests of the Sith people. These offsprings tended to exhibit the physical characteristics of their Sith percentage, such as red skin and yellow eyes, bony protrusions on their face or head, and fleshy tendrils dangling from their cheeks and chin. For a brief time, Sith blood was seen as a sign of weakness, but the modern Empire believes purity of heritage carries the strength of the Force. Genetically speaking, true pureblood Sith are virtually extinct, but red skin is still a mark of an Imperial, almost always a Force user, who can trace his or her ancestry into antiquity. Really, really cool lore to brush up on. These are just the titles that we've got, and if we ever want to know how we got them, you can kind of look at your codex, but we'll leave the codex here for now. We did a lot of reading there. It was about 20 or 30 minutes of reading, and we will take on Balmorra next time we play. Get a quick view of it. Man, they do a really good job with a sense of scale in this game. But yeah, I'm excited to pick up and figure out what's going on Balmora. A lot of quests here, it seems, lots to do, so we'll be here for a while. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out with all my nerdy yapping. Peace and love, and God bless, gamers.